Sanibonani Mzansi. I am your host Candice Kumalo and I welcome you to another episode of the Health from Mzansi podcast. Whether you're braaiing in Mpumalanga, hustling in Hillbrow, or chilling in Cape Town, Health from Mzansi is all you need to tackle anything life throws your way. Have you ever heard the saying, food is medicine? Well, forget the pills and portions because in this episode, we're delving into the power of what we put on our plates with dietitian Aziwe Booi. Aziwe, welcome to the Health from Mzansi podcast. It's an honor to be chatting to you today, and I can't wait to explore today's topic with you. But before we jump in, tell us a bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
Thanks so much for having me, Candice. I'm really excited to be here. I am a registered dietitian by profession, so I get to speak about food. People call me the food doctor sometimes because I just speak about food every day. What a dietitian does essentially is just helping people to reach their health goals, depending on different conditions or what their goals are, just lifestyle-wise. So I've been in this profession for about 4 years now, and I've been running my own practice for about 3 years as well. So it's really exciting to be able to help my own clients also reach their goals. But I am a big fan of social media, so I do post a lot. So I just use social media just to educate people on nutrition and to kind of break some of those misconceptions about nutrition as well that very easily and very quickly circulate online.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Aziwe. We hear the phrase food is medicine thrown around a lot. But what does it actually mean? How would you describe food as medicine? Like, how does food actually act as medicine?
So the term really just speaks to how the foods that we eat actually have a really big impact on our health. How I like to view it is what we eat is almost like if you're putting fuel in a car. If you're putting the wrong fuel in the car's not going to drive properly. If you're not putting enough fuel, the car's not going to drive properly. If you're not checking the oil, if you're not checking the tires, if you're not checking the water, all those things make the car not to run properly. So we need to think of our bodies as the same. Food is medicine in that sense, where if we aren't giving our body enough of the vitamins, the minerals that it needs, then that's what increases our risk of getting sick. If we're not moving our bodies enough as well outside of nutrition, then we're going to be more prone to different chronic conditions. So essentially, food is medicine because food is able to provide a lot of different vitamins and minerals that our body needs that are actually essential, which means we can't get some of them without getting it through the diet. So that's how I would say. Although I will just place a disclaimer that food isn't medicine in all cases. I think in general, we can say food is medicine for the health benefits from the vitamins and minerals, the fiber that we get from our foods, the different macronutrients, so carbs, protein, and our fats. But if someone has got a certain health condition, they will actually need medication. They will actually need treatment. So it doesn't necessarily mean that food will always cure conditions, but food can help prevent certain conditions. Food can help to improve your outcomes in terms of recovery for different conditions as well. So that's the way that food acts as medicine. That it's not necessarily the first line defense, but it's more the prevention and then the support.
So can you share some practical tips for incorporating food as medicine into our daily lives that can have significant health benefits?
When it comes to food and nutrition, one of the very popular topics at the moment is protein. Protein is one of those food groups. It's a macronutrient, so it's one of the food groups we need in big amounts in the diet. So it is actually really important because it helps with wound healing. Protein is important to make us stay full. It's what helps to build our muscle. It helps to regulate our temperature. So protein itself is a really important nutrient because it also provides a lot of health benefits in terms of our immune health. So that's one of the big food groups that we do need to make sure we get enough of, as long as in general you're getting 0.8 grams per kilogram of your body weight. You'll take 0.8 times it by how much you weigh, and that's how much protein you need in a day. Then that's what you can incorporate. So that's one of the food groups. I mean, beans and legumes, our lean meats, making sure that it's the more chicken, fish, our beans and legumes. And then so in terms of our other food groups as well, because we can't forget about fats and carbs. So our fats are also really important for our immune health. They've got lots of antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. which are really important to actually then help to prevent conditions in terms of supporting your immune health to prevent getting sick or to kind of reduce the length of how long you're getting sick. Those antioxidants and anti-inflammatories can help to assist in that way. So your nuts and seeds, your nut butters, things like your vegetable oils, all sources of that. And then we also get our carbs, of course. I think carbs get a very bad reputation, but they're actually very important to still incorporate in our diet, going for more brown starches, things that are high in fiber, our brown rice, more of our brown seeded breads are beneficial just to get that additional fiber. And the reason being is that fiber is basically a very important component of supporting gut health. And our gut is where at least 65% of our immune system is found. So if you can't support your gut health, you actually aren't able to support your immune health. And that's why gut health is such a big component. When we're supporting our gut health, we can prevent conditions. We can be able to have regular bowel movements. And then when we've got that good lining in the gut, then it's really, really beneficial in the long term. So supporting our gut health is something that's easy to do through our high fiber starches. Like I mentioned, the brown starches. We can do so with our fermented foods, which will give that extra added bacteria into the gut, and then specific vegetables as well, which I'll get into vegetables. But the vegetables like our onions, our leeks, those prebiotics, which basically are the food that feed that good bacteria in the gut. So all in all, really making sure that we're supporting the gut health is something that's another component of kind of immune support through the diet. And of course, we can't forget about our fruit and vegetables. I get called the veggie lady by some clients of mine as well. And it's because there's no limit to the portion sizes of vegetables, especially if we're talking about our non-starchy vegetables. Because when you're having about 4 to 8 portions or more, it even ends up being beneficial for your immune health, not just immune health, your mental health rather. So that's where food can be medicine from a mental health perspective, not only from a physical health perspective. Because when you're getting enough of your fruits and vegetables and all the other aspects I've spoken about, it helps to reduce the symptoms of different mood disorders like anxiety and depression. So that's where, again, food can help our mental health. So nutrition science is still a very new science, but it's such an exciting space to be in because we're just seeing how much food links to so many different things, mental health, physical health. So it's really important to make sure that we're prioritizing our nutrition however we can. And it doesn't mean it has to be something that's breaking your budget. You can buy your seasonal fruits and vegetables. You can buy your beans and legumes, going for any cheaper meat cuts as long as you're trying to go for the leaner portions. But really, there are ways to kind of make it still affordable and still make it beneficial for you.
Sure, Aziwe, thank you so much for highlighting those important points. However, since every advantage has a disadvantage, Aziwe, what are some of the challenges, risks, or drawbacks to using food as medicine, especially for those with specific dietary restrictions or health concerns?
That's the thing. I think the term itself is not applicable to everyone. Again, I think, as I mentioned before, it should be more a way to support our health, but it can't be all end all because there are conditions where you do have to be on medication, where you do have to go in for treatment. And you have to listen to what your healthcare professionals are assisting you with. Another thing to keep in mind is that it doesn't mean that just because you're getting treatment for certain conditions that you can't still prioritize your nutrition, your diet. You can do both at the same time. And that's where the guidance of a dietitian can really help so that whatever condition you have, if you have certain foods you can or can't eat, you can have someone who can show you and say, okay, we can't eat these foods, but look how many options you have available. And this is how we can combine your meals so that you're still getting enough food in your diet, so that you're still getting enough of all your important vitamins and minerals, etc. So really making sure that you don't only seek the treatment you need from your doctor, but looking at other professionals as well. And depending on the treatment that you're on, also looking at people like biokineticists. They're the people who are the sports scientists who can really help. If, for instance, there's someone who has any injury or can't move as much because of a specific condition, for instance, it's some kind of autoimmune condition and they're struggling to get that movement in, going to someone who can understand the science behind it and be able to assist you where you need to. Same with physiotherapists. Physiotherapists will, and the biokineticists interchangeably, a very important part of just getting movement back, because outside of nutrition, movement is also very important. So really just looking at the different aspects of your health, not just what health condition you have, but how can we work on your physical health in terms of physical fitness or pain management through using a physiotherapist? Or how can we build your muscle and build your core through a biokineticist? How can we improve your diet with a dietitian? How can we improve your energy levels, which nutrition can also assist with? Certain conditions might make you feel like you have low energy. So really just making sure that you do your research. There are a lot of different professionals who can assist you. And when it comes to nutrition, specifically speaking to a dietitian, because there is no other health professional who is more qualified. We do 4 years of training. Our doctors, 6 years of training, but they only do about a week in terms of nutrition, up to 6 weeks at the most out of that 6-year training. So that's why, again, it's so important to make sure you're speaking to a dietitian who can then give you that support and assistance so that you can get that guidance along the way and make sure that you are on the right track. Because there's nothing worse than feeling like you can't eat anything. Food is such a big part of our lives. It's how we socialize. It's how we connect with people. It's something that a lot of the time we rely on. A lot of us are emotional eaters. We rely on food to make us feel better. So dietitian can really help you navigate through your emotional eating and also help you navigate through every circumstances you're in, depending on what your diet needs to look like. And then they can give you the assistance, the options, so that you can actually feel like you can live again and enjoy your food again.
Thank you so much for mentioning such important words of advice considering nutrition, Aziwe. So in closing, can you please share more words of advice for anyone who's thinking of incorporating food as medicine into their lives?
Have a look at what you're eating and see what you can add, because I think a lot of the time we think I need to cut out this, I need to cut out that, but there's a lot of things that are lacking in our diet. So that's the first thing. See what you can add so that you've got those extra vitamins and minerals so that, again, we can use nutrition as that form of support to help with chronic disease prevention and also support if you've got any specific conditions. Also keeping in mind, nutrition for certain chronic conditions can also help for you to get into remission. If you're really consistent with your nutrition and you've been diagnosed with hypertension and you're able to lose at least 5 to 10% of your body weight and make all the dietary changes, your blood pressure can actually get into normal range. High cholesterol, same, if you're making the right changes that have been prescribed by a dietitian. Type 2 diabetes, you can go into remission and not need to be on your medication. So really not underestimating the benefits of nutrition, prioritizing it, but also understanding that if you need to be on medication, you need to take it so that it can support the treatment of whatever condition you have.
Thank you for joining this week's episode of the Health from Zanzi podcast. To find out more on being the healthiest version of yourself, visit healthfromzansi.co.za. Or you can send us an email to hello@healthfromzansi.co.za. This is the Health from Zanzi podcast, and your ears are always invited. Although food isn't medicine in all cases, by making informed choices about what we put on our plates, we can empower our bodies to fight off certain illness and disease. Stay healthy and fancy. I am your host, Candice Kumalo. Until next time.